All right, good morning. In order to search the EBSCOHost database, start at the library's webpage. Choose CINAHL. Once you arrive at CINAHL through the EBSCOHost platform, choose Choose Databases next to the very top. Choose Select. Remember, you don't need to know all of these databases. You just need to know how to use them. And when you're writing your methods section, all you need to say is that you searched the EBSCOHost platform that included CINAHL, Medline, and PsycInfo. Click OK. Don't change any of the settings just yet, depending on your topic. From the search box, type in your topic. Today we're going to look at lupus. As you see in the drop-down box, we have a variety of different ways of looking at lupus. Choose the first one. Do not look at your results just yet. We are still building the search. We'll use the next phrase for lupus, and we'll continue choosing the phrases for lupus until we have gathered all of the lupus possibilities. Next, because we're also looking at African American or Black, we'll choose that. And yes, sometimes even in modern science, we're still using the word Negro, so we will include that as well. You don't always necessarily need the plurals. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, from here, you go to search history. This gives you a list of all the searches that you've currently done and the results of those searches. You want to search similar terms with an OR. So I'm going to choose S1, S2, and S3, which are the three different types of lupus we're looking at. Make sure you clear your search box. Now choose Search OR. For the other terms, based on ethnicity, we're going to include those. Also search with an OR. Once you have two results, choose the last two, S8 and S9 in this case, and choose Search with AND. Now, this has given us about 2,674 results. Don't be afraid. You're not necessarily going to search that. Start with your limitations. Always choose scholarly peer-reviewed journals first. Once you choose that, notice the number has drastically dropped from 2,000 to 846. If you have particular dates in mind, choose your dates now. If you don't choose your dates now, you generally will not be able to without having to recreate quite a bit of work. Again, we lost about another 100 of results, but that's okay. Next, we have source types. Choose Show More, mostly because sometimes dissertations are included in the list of source types. In this case, it is not. So we will choose just academic journals and click Update. Now, the next set of limitations are your subject, major headings, and thesaurus terms. Major headings and thesaurus terms are very similar and based on different databases and indexes. I like to start with subjects. Why? Because when you look to the right, you will see the word subjects. So these are the subjects that they're limiting to currently. Always choose Show More. This way you don't have to update it each and every time you pick a new word or phrase. And then you just go through the list and you pick out words or phrases that are similar to or relate to the kind of research you're looking for or the kind of articles that you're looking for. If you're not sure of a word or phrase, you can still choose it, and it may or may not be an article that is of interest to you. Once you have chosen all of your subjects, choose Update. Sometimes it takes the computer a little bit to update. Notice in your search box, it tells you exactly how you have limited your search, in this case by peer-reviewed journals produced from 2000 to 2015. And it also tells you all of the subjects that you have used. This is helpful information for when you go back to write up your method section. Notice now we only have 66 articles. And that's okay. Don't let the numbers scare you. Now, if you're very particular and you want to know exactly which databases have how many articles, at the very bottom it says Databases. You can always click Show More. Then it will tell you exactly how many articles are in which database. In this case, Academic Search Premier had 486, CINAHL has 126, and PsycInfo has 10. The rest of them, which are also peer-reviewed academic journals, has a few more. But right now, we're not limiting databases. We want to see what everything is. The other piece of this database that's very interesting is to search by methodology. If you're looking for particular types of studies, you can limit them to the kinds of studies you're interested in, where we are not in this search. Age is a very interesting and tricky limitation. I generally stay away from using age depending on the topic. Sometimes adulthood catches enough information. The rest of the possible age breakdown are tricky to use based on how researchers have thought about their population and the population that's included. So today we will not use the age filters either. We also will not use the language filter because A, everything is in English, but B, we will not use the language filter because in a systematic review or an integrated review, you always want to include all languages of each of the articles possible, and then say in your discussion that you are not able to translate variety of articles and therefore they were excluded. But you need to be able to say you found them so that the search is replicable. Now, in this case, we have only 66 articles related to what we're interested in. If you have a much larger number, and based on your topic, you will, you can also go back and choose subject major headings or thesaurus terms. This way, it limits the data a little bit more to get you closer to the kind of information you're interested in. Now, once you have all the articles you're interested in, choose page options. This way, you can either read the abstract, the title at the same time by choosing detailed, or, and you can, in page options, also choose how many results you want to look at per page, the layout of that page, and whether or not you want to see the images or not. I like to go with the biggest number of results just so that I don't have to choose too many pages at the same time. If your search term history box gets too big and you're tired of scrolling past it, choose this little bitty arrow here and it will raise the search history so that you can read. Notice the number went from 66 to 48. Why? Because exact duplicates were removed from results. So now we have about 48 articles based on the topic we're looking for. And this is where now you can read your titles, you can read the abstract, and if it's still not clear, choose either full text or linked full text and start reading the article. That way you can be familiar with the complete information and know exactly whether or not this is an article to include or exclude in your explanation. Once you've decided that, yes, these are articles I'm very interested in and these are the ones I want to keep, two ways. If you have a lot of articles and you want to cherry pick them, hit your plus sign on the blue folder. It will turn it yellow. If you want them all, choose results 1 through 48. It put everything into the folder without you having to click on each one. Then you go to where it says on the far right-hand side, folder has items. Click Go to Folder View. Once in your folder is where you get the button says Export. You will need to export all of these articles and put them into your citation manager. In this case, most of you are using EndNote. Some are using RefWorks. If you're using EndNote or RefWorks and you are at your desktop where your EndNote is stored, choose the first one. If you are on the road and you need to use the web version, choose the second one that says EndNote Web. If you're using RefWorks, choose RefWorks. Click Save. I never use remove these items from the folder after saving. No need to. So let's click Save. Notice that a box dropped to the bottom that says delivery.ris. That is our citation. But before we add it to the citation manager, let's go back. We went back 2 places to our actual search. Now, we'll pull our search history back up. When you have a search that you have gotten all the information from and you think it's a really good search, at the very top it gives you 4 different options: print, retrieve, or save. Always save your search. If you're not logged in, it will prompt you to log in like it prompted me. Don't worry if you cannot remember your password. This is like all other databases or all other websites. It gives you the option, forgot your password. Once you're logged in, you do have to be logged in and have an account. This is separate from using your MUSC net ID. You can use your MUSC net ID, but this is separate. It will ask you to name your search, and in this case, we're calling it and the description. I like to include a description because you just never know when you are going to do more than one search on a topic. It gives you the date. It tells you the databases that you searched, the search strategy, the interface or platform, whether or not you want to save the search permanently or temporarily. Notice it's just 24 hours. Or you can create an alert. In this case, we're saving our search. And before I click save, notice all of the data that it gives you. So when you're writing up your method section, you can actually copy and paste this information, not necessarily your limiters, because you have to remove narrow by subject, but it does help you when you're getting to that point to include that in your method section. So let's click save. It has now been saved. It tells you the databases that you have used, and click continue. Now, because I do quite a bit of work, here's my saved search, and I can go back to it if I choose to, or we can just hit back because we haven't left the search. Now, once you have all the results and you're looking through them, now you can add it to your citation manager. In my case, I'm using EndNote Desktop. So I choose my EndNote. Sometimes EndNote takes a little bit to load. This first page is very nice, but it's not necessary. So hit your red X if you're on a Mac and hit escape if you're not. You go to File, Import. Find where you download things in your computer. In my case, I put everything in downloads. I also like to have it organized by date so I can find it. So today it's the first one. Where it says import options, change it from whatever it says. Sometimes it'll say PubMed, sometimes it'll say PDF, whatever your last one was. In my case, it said PubMed, and we need to change it to Reference Manager RIS. You know that is the correct one because the citation says, or it says .RIS, so that's the correct one. It's always an RIS for EBSCOHost. It's prompted me to log in. You hit continue. Choose MUSC library so that it connects to the proper one. It shows you the library's page and hit continue. Now you'll see this button that says imported references, so you know that all 48 of my references have been imported. I will select all so that these get saved into the proper place. In this case, I'm putting them in lupus, which is my library and lupus folder. And I will tell the computer to find the full text. The only way find full text works is if you have it set up. Here's what yours should look like. Under EndNote X7, choose Preferences. Choose Find Full Text. Web of Science should not be checked because we do not have access to it. The other three are okay. You should have information in the Open URL path, the Authenticate With URL path, and then if you go to the bottom and choose URL and links, you should only have something very small in the Open URL arguments path. If those three are correct, then you can get all the full text for these articles. Also, at the very bottom, it tells you it's searching my 48 for my PDFs. If a PDF is available, they will have a little paperclip to tell you that's available. Happy searching.